Good morning on Thursday, the 2nd of January 2025. Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome back from the January the 1st or New Year holiday. It's 8 a.m. in the Gambia, and we welcome you to Coffee Time with Peter Gomez from West Coast Radio. We begin our newspaper review with the point. Barrow acknowledges politics as threat to Gambia's progress. NRA Deputy MD appointed IRF Global Board member. Standard names Abubakar Jawara, Gambian of the Year 2024. Gambia and Senegal reaffirm resolve on bilateral cooperation. Prime Minister Sonko admires Gambia's marble voting system. Government addresses farmers' concerns over digital payments at SECOs, and court orders UDP's Ibrahim Diba to enter defense. Let's move to Foraya. GGC says digital payment of farmers approved by SECO presidents. Court orders police to arrest Bloombank staff for allegedly stealing $10 million. Mahmoud Fana SECO operating after withdrawal of certificate. Government says it has addressed farmers' concerns about digital payments at SECOs. Drug cuts TB treatment to 6 months with fewer pills. NAO says cases of mental disorder increased to approximately 24,000. And Mohurst launches crash roadmap to support student mothers. The Voice isn't out yet, so we'll move swiftly to the Standard. And these are the paper's first headlines of 2025. Barrow wants draft constitution to go to referendum. Missionary head denies Britain bankrolls Ahmadis. GFA raps on government's failures in New Year message. Court tells UDP's Diba he has case to answer. And Gach donates 200 streetlights to Gambisara. And that's today's newspaper review. Our thanks to Foraya, the Standard, and The Point. The Voice, as I said, if it's out, it hasn't arrived at our news desk to be able to bring you the headlines on its front page. It's Thursday, the 2nd of January 2025. And we would like to thank the management of Global Auto Care for raising the level of their support for the program by now becoming a co-sponsor. It means that they have recognized the value that Coffee Time adds to their business and therefore don't mind paying a bit more to help ensure continuity of the program. You may be running a business and it's not growing as fast as you'd like. Get in touch with Mr. Jibril Jassi, 699-0107 or 787-0107 or 924-2424, and he will help you grow your business by linking you up with Coffee Time. Now, President Barrow has used his New Year message to remind Gambians that 2025, the year we have just begun, is the year leading to the 2026 presidential election. There is an obvious need for restraint, respect for the rule of law, and avoiding divisive politics and unrest, Barrow advised. Well, he stands accused of not leading a rule of law government for its failure to give diaspora Gambians the vote. And their right to vote and be voted for is enshrined in clauses 26, 33, and 39 of the 1997 Constitution. Now, perhaps prompted by it, Foraya's question of the day hinges on the same section of the presidential New Year message I just quoted. Will the diaspora participate in the next election is Foraya's question of the day. Well, one of my guests this morning should be interested in the question. Makan Sowe has been a member of the United Democratic Party, I am told, since its formation in 1996. And now serves the party as head of media and communication in the Diaspora. Makan, welcome to Coffee Time and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, Mr. Gomez. Happy New Year to your listeners. So I'm glad to be here. I just want to make a little correction. With regards to my membership of the United Democratic Party, I officially joined in 2017, but I was an activist. We've been, in the forefront against the dictatorship. So from the early 2000s all the way to 2016 when Jammeh was defeated. So I just wanted to make that clear. At that time, it was.
Sometimes our sources get it wrong.
Right. But but I've been in the forefront though. More. On the activist side. Yeah. Because as you know that at some point. The dictatorship was getting increasingly belligerent, so it was hard to really do normal politics at the time. So, those of us living abroad, decided that, the best thing to do for our country really is to, move forward and because we can operate there without threats on our lives and stuff like that, so absolutely.
This, based on what you just said, it was dangerous to do politics at the time. This is why some people, when they praise lawyer Ousainou Darboe for standing up to the dictator, the tyrant, the despot, whatever, adjective or noun you want to use, on Jammeh, know what they're saying.
Yes. Absolutely right. The people that stayed here, are incredibly brave because, we all know, we have seen what happened to Solo Sanding. We've seen what happened to a host of other people, especially the United Democratic Party. That was the main target of the APRC government. And also, Jammeh, because he showed United Democratic Party as the biggest threat to his government. So it is really, there was a time it was practically impossible to operate normal politics. Sure, but unfortunately for Jammeh, when the arrival of the internet, social media, so everybody, show an opening now. You know what? This is the time we're gonna take on him. Because we have the platform that we can speak to our people back home who don't have the luxury to speak for themselves because, it was increased. It was very, very dangerous at the time. So, yeah, absolutely. So Mr. Darboe is a very brave man, a man who has, given it all for his country. He has done absolutely well for his own country because what he has done, I don't think there is any other Gambian that has done. And that is, sacrificing his wealth, sacrificing, representing people in the party that have been arrested by the dictatorship or been tortured by the dictatorship. Imagine in 1996 and 97, all those people that were, arrested, the single Nyasis and all that, the Wasajanis. These were people that were really, 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 battered. The party was really battered, but he stood there. He was there representing people. Anytime somebody is arrested, he will leave everything he's doing and go find the person wherever the person is in the country. So, as I keep saying, in any other country, Ousainou Darboe would have been the president of the Gambia today. In any other country.
So who are you blaming for him not being president? Is it the Gambian voter or what?
I am blaming the NPP to some extent, and also, this thing started.
The NPP only started yesterday. This party has been around since 1996.
I'm coming. But under Jammeh, it was very, very hard for the opposition to operate in a normal way. The reason why Jammeh got defeated in 2016, because he has already been battered enough. He had no credibility left in the country. Because people were sick and tired of him, so everybody wanted change. So, especially when he arrested Mr. Darboe and his executive members. So that's, emboldened the party, emboldened these voters, the supporters, and it created, of course, the opportunity for Barrow to come in, and then with the coalition government bringing all these parties together, and also Mama Kande also doing his thing. I always say, I mean, if Mama Kandeh didn't come on the scene, there is no way Jammeh would have lost the election because Mama Kandeh is the one that took 17%.
He was the kingmaker.
He was the kingmaker. He's the one that took 17% from Jammeh, and that 17% traditionally voted for Yaya Jammeh.
True.
So, I mean, so Mama Kandeh was the kingmaker. So, I mean, all those combinations helped Barrow become president. But coming back to your question, I think, you know, like Jammeh and his APRC, they started it, and then NPP went with it too. I mean, like, and, you know, put fuel on fire. And that is trying to make Mr. Dabo.
NPP has only won one election.
Right, they did. But the thing is, I mean, like, their campaign was so divisive. I heard you say on your introduction that Barrow is advising people to stay away from divisive politics. But who is more divisive than Adama Barrow and the NPP? I was listening to his speech the other day. I was laughing. These people, while UDP was campaigning in 2021, trying to tell the Gambian people what they are going to do, what we are going to do for you, the problems we are going to solve, the 5-point agenda, these people had nothing to offer. And the Gambian people have found out now, after 3 years, I mean, it's all suffering and, I mean, nothing working in the country. So they made a calculated decision that we have to scare minorities. We have to scare minorities by telling them that if Ousainou Darboe becomes president, if UDP takes over the government, they are going to kick every minority out of the country. That's what they were campaigning on. So, I mean, so what is more divisive than that? You remember when Dembo Bojang, I mean, went on that rally and said, I mean, Dembo Bojang, who's been in UDP for all his life, who was NCP before that, went out there and said that if Darboe and UDP take over the country, they are going to kick all the minorities out. And Dembo Bojang, if he says that, the media are going to jump on that. They say, well, this is a guy that been, and he knows it's not true. It's all lies. It's all lies.
Well, maybe the way he put it, but is it not also true that elements attaching themselves to the UDP were actually, I mean, going after people, you know, I mean, during the registration process, identifying them as non-Gambians and, you know, I mean, stopping them from being registered. People associating themselves with your party.
Peter, I have complained about that, and I think that was a mistake, I mean, on some elements of my party. And I have advised, I mean, everybody in my party, that is something we have to desist from. We cannot afford to do that. Everyone that is qualified to vote must vote. Everyone that has a Gambian ID, Gambian passport, you know, I mean, like, or whatever you have, any documentation that is a legal document, you are entitled to register and vote. I have complained about it. I have advised against it. I think it is not helpful. So, I mean, because what happens is when you deny somebody, all they do is they call the radio to call Peter Gomez and say, you know what, UDP is trying to stop us from voting. So really, they don't want us here. So that is a problem. But I think it is something that we are ready to take on in the coming 2 years. So I mean, yeah, but I mean, coming to that, and listen, I mean, if you remember the Sepras poll that first came out in 2021, you know, there are 2 polls that came out. The first poll, actually, my voice here, but the first poll had 42% of the voters undecided. So I mean, it doesn't mean the voters love Barrow. They don't like him. It's just the divisive politics that help him win. And now the voters are paying the price. So if that 42% was undecided, I mean, like in the first poll that came out 2-3 months before the election. So what that tells you, there is that 400,000 that you just mentioned about some of our elements, and they keep talking about ghost voters. And I keep telling them, there are no ghost voters. Okay? These are voters who don't like UDP, they don't like NPP, they don't basically like any other party. But these are the kingmakers. That 42%, that 400,000, and they voted only in the presidential election. Mm-hmm. They didn't vote in the parliamentary election. They didn't vote in the local government.
Yes.
They didn't, because those people, they just don't care. If you give them the comfort, if you are nice to them, mm-hmm. They will come to you. But you have to do that. You have to give them comfort. You have to be nice to them because they don't care. They don't like Barrow. They don't like Barrow. They voted for him, of course, in 2021, but they don't like him.
Well, we're not sure of that.
Yes.
I mean, they may, we're not quite sure of that because if they don't like Barrow, why did they eventually vote for them? So, does the UDP have to change anything going into 2026?
Well, I mean, it is important for us to be united. Okay, I mean that is the key. We cannot defeat President Barrow if we are not united. So that is what I mean, and that's what the party leader keeps advising us. So everybody in the United Democratic Party who is a bona fide member is entitled to lead the party if they choose to do it, if they want to do it. In an election or whatever. So what the party leader keeps telling us, even on Sunday at the Congress, he reminded us, what I'm telling you guys is that there is time for everything. When the time comes for us to select a leader or a flag bearer or whatever who is going to represent us, whoever is interested will put up their candidacy, and whoever the party picks should be our candidate. That's what he advised us to do. So whoever is interested can come in. I mean, can come in and apply. But I mean, with regards to what we can change, I mean, listen, the country is in a situation where everybody is suffering. A lady called me. I do go to the Fuller Radio sometimes to speak to them.
There's a Fuller Radio?
Fuller Radio, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I go to Mariama Jallo.
Okay.
It's a prominent, most Fullers listen to that radio.
Okay.
So, a lady called me. She told me that in 2026, we are going to use a flashlight during the daylight to look for you guys because we are tired. And these are people that voted for Barrow because we are tired of what is happening. She told me, as I said, to repeat, we're going to use a flashlight in the middle of the day to look for you guys, to look for UDP in 2026.
So when she says we, how many people is she, referring to? Because you may be sure of her vote, but who's we?
Well,
how many people are behind her?
Well, I mean,
what's her influence?
Well, yes, absolutely. But this is a woman that voted for NPP.
Okay.
Okay. And I have this reaction from people. I mean, a lot of people are telling me they want to change their vote in 2026. I am very confident. Come 2026. You're going to see a different result this time around.
But the question is, what will the UDP change, going into 2026? Unless you spoke about people who went and tried to stop people, registering. That was part of the strategy to win in 2021. Mm-hmm. It did not work out.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, one of the strategy here is we have to go to the voters again and tell them what we want to do for them, okay? And stay away from the divisive politics. That's what I advise. And you questioning one person who is a member of the United Democratic Party, right? So
I speak to so many of you.
I
just had a long
right.
interview with your party leader.
Right, absolutely. But as I said, what I'm telling you and what I advise. Mm-hmm. What I advise, I keep saying this all the time on our forums, on our meetings, and my meeting with executive members, is that we have to stay away from, especially during the registration process, stay away from this, our agents going there trying to stop people from voting, because that is a recipe for disaster in the first place. Whoever is qualified to vote should be given the right to vote, and that is the IEC's decision to do that. So, I mean, people trying to stop other people from voting, that is not going to be, that is not helpful, because that's really, 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 really dangerous, because, Gambia is a melting pot, really, if you look at it. It's a country surrounded by Senegal. Okay, I'm not saying that foreigners should come in and vote in our election. I'm not saying that, but because the elections are for us as Gambians. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's not for anybody that is not.
Gambian elections are for Gambians and Gambian voters only.
Thank you. Yeah. Exactly. So that's exactly my point. So now it is for them, but just one Momodu Njai cannot go there and try to identify who is a Gambian, who is not a Gambian.
Exactly. And just because somebody carries a Gomez does
Right.
not mean that they are from Guinea-Bissau.
Or they're light skinned.
Yeah.
In fact, that's always what I say. You cannot go there and single out light skinned people and say, you know what, you are not a Gambian. You don't know that. That's what I always say. Okay. So that's always one of my advice. And you know, we are making progress. And listen, I was there at the Congress. Half of the delegates there were, people, minorities. Okay? Fullers, Woloffs, Manjagos. In fact, one of the people introducing the guests and all that, the moderators, what's a Manjago?
What's strange about that?
No, it's not strange.
Possibly the biggest moderator in this country is a Manjago.
Right, that's true. But my point is, the assumption that NPP trying to put out there, or some people have that UDP is not diverse enough, it's not true. I'm here speaking to you. I'm a Fuller man, okay? So, so the UDP is very, very diverse. So it's just that people, try to go there, tarnish the image of the party as trying to accuse it of being a Mandinka party, which is not true. Every ethnic group is in that party. Every religious, affiliated group is in that party. So everybody is there. So, we will go out there and inform the people, tell the people that the United Democratic Party is as diverse as the country itself.
And this tribal tag on the party is wrong. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, it is wrong. Very, very, very wrong. For Usainu Dabo to be a Mandinka, and then for you to use that and trying to portray the whole party as a Mandinka party.
Is that the only reason? Because Usainu Dabo is a Mandinka?
Well, what can I say?
But
what can I say? Because Aji Yamseka, the deputy leader, is not Mandinka. So why? What can I say? Why? Why most of these NPP people, or before that APRC, tend to tag the UDP as a Mandinka party? Why? I believe it's because of, Usainu Dabo is is a Mandinka and he's leading the party.
Well, nobody calls the GFA a Mandinka party, and it's led by a Mandinka.
Well, G is a new party, and it's not a threat. And it's not a threat. GFF is not a threat.
But
it's not
GFA.
GFA, okay, but it's not a threat. It's not a threat to NPP. It was not a threat to APRC. So politics, as you know, is like when you are the one that is the threat, you are the one that they go after. And they will find these things, that they can use, this divisive stuff, okay, this vile stuff. That's what they're trying to use to intimidate, and then let the minorities know, oh yeah, this is a Mandinka party. So if you vote for them, you are only giving power to Mandinkas, and then at the same time, your existence in the country is there's a threat in it.
You just used a word that the NPP number 2 used to describe your party, that the NPP is the most vile group of politicians in this country. How do you feel about that statement?
It is sad. It is sad. Because the reason is, you can oppose. Let's talk about the issues. Okay, if you are a politician, you are NPP, you come here, tell us what Barrow wants to do, or what you are, or what you have done. Okay, this is. UDP is not going to do this. They're not going to do that.
Well, they do that all the time. They do a lot. They tell you we have built roads, we have enhanced, the health system, we have built schools,
But Peter, there's nobody believes that. Nobody believes.
No, you're saying they should tell you what they have done.
Right.
They tell us what they have
well,
done.
Well, but they do, but they also do the other thing more than they tell us what they want to do.
Which is the other thing.
Right. The vile stuff they do. Against the UDP by trying to portray it as a Mandinka party, trying to scare the people. Scare the people. From the party. So this is what they do. This is exactly how they won the election in 2021. Because this is exactly this divisive stuff they do to just keep scaring people.
Okay, Makan Sowe is with us until the top of the hour. It's coffee time with Peter Gomez, and Makan is the head of communication in the Diaspora. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we will talk about diaspora voting? Will it happen? Will it not happen? Welcome back, and if you'd like to advertise on the program, get in touch with Mr. Jibril Jassi on 699-0107, 787-0107, or 924-24-24. Makan Sowe is still with us, and with 2024 as the biggest election year in history, and 2025 heralding more important elections ahead, it is pertinent to acknowledge the diaspora in the Gambia's electoral landscape, where voting can be both a reflection of identity and a deliberate contribution to shaping the nation's path. According to the EU Global Diaspora Facility, only 24% of 216 countries worldwide do not yet enfranchise their citizens abroad for elections. In other words, the Gambia is one of only 52 countries globally that do not let their citizens abroad take part in their elections. Yet, the right of diaspora Gambians to vote and be voted for is enshrined in clauses 26, 33, and 39 of the 1997 Constitution. And we are told that remittances contribute a vital part of the overall revenue that we put together every year. Okay, Makan.
Yes.
What's the situation with diaspora voting, and what people like you are doing to ensure that it happens in 2026?
Right. Yes, Mr. Gomez, we are pushing. First of all, anytime we meet our party leader and we have constant meeting with him or party executives, all we do is to push them about diaspora voting.
How are you pushing?
We are asking them to do everything in their power through our...
How do you do that? Do you write? Do you pick up your telephone and call call the Ministry of External Affairs, call the IEC, call whoever?
Right. I'm sure there are some designated people that do that. But yes, but the fact of the matter is, it's just the government's, determination not to see the diaspora vote. And the reason is, I guess, is that they just don't think it helps them. Okay? As you rightly said, it's a shame that out of 52 countries, only Gambia
the Gambia is one of 52 countries.
Right, okay, 152. Anyway, it is still a shame that Gambia doesn't allow their citizens abroad to vote. And Gambia has a very large diaspora population from Europe to the Americas and many other countries in Africa. So even Guinea-Conakry, their citizens vote in the Gambia. Forget about Senegal. Senegal does the same. Every other country in our sub-region allow their citizens to vote. So only the Gambia that doesn't. So, and Adama Barrow would have never been president. I don't care what he thinks, okay? He would have never been president if it wasn't the diaspora. Because in 2016, it is the diaspora that put up the resources. I was there, okay? That helped the coalition government, win the election. It is the activism, that led to 2016, that got Yaya Jammeh in a subdued situation, that weakened him, because we all know Yaya Jammeh by 2016. Really, he was in a weak, very, very, very weak position. Even though he was a dictator, he was brutal. Solo Sandeng was killed in that year. Seino Dabo and his executive members were jailed in that year. But we all know Jammeh was in a very weakened situation. So the diaspora mobilized. They mobilized our resources. We mobilized.
It was not the diaspora that weakened him. It was not the diaspora that put him in that weakened position as you describe it.
It is the diaspora that contributed to Yaya Jammeh's weakening.
How did it contribute to that?
Okay, now, I mean, you know, there was no critical media here in the Gambia at the time.
Yes, I do.
So it is started with the media abroad, from Freedom Radio to Fatu Network, and then it just expanded. I mean, like, to social media. So now the Gambian people that are here, they are getting information. So I mean, like, from abroad, whatever is happening, all the bad stuff that nobody dare to report, from the Gambia. It is the Gambian-based foreign media that was reporting on it.
Okay.
So I mean, so Jammeh got exposed. That myth he had. that myth that was there was just taken out of the window. So I mean, that contributed immensely towards Jammeh's weakening. So now he didn't have secrets. You know what they used to do, go kill people or go arrest people with impunity without nobody knowing about it. All that went away, because anybody that is arrested or anybody that disappeared, they're going to call Freedom Radio, or they're going to call Fatu Network, or they're going to call Gainako Radio, or Cairo Radio or Kibaro Radio. They're going to call them, and those people are going to be reporting it. So really, he was, so everything he was doing at the time was, being known by the Gambian people. So really, I mean, the diaspora, coming back to, the diaspora voting, we, as you said, we are the major GDP contributors today. More than agriculture, more than tourism, more than anything else, the diaspora. So it is very vital. But we all know how...
Why are you not leveraging that, to wield, more clout, influence on the way things happen here, especially, to get yourselves the vote?
Absolutely. But as I said, the government has to be a partner in that. The government must be a partner in that. So if they are not willing to be a partner, all what we can do right now is to push and push and push. And as you said, use our leverage. But we have 2 more years. We're gonna increase the pressure. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee the Gambian people, whoever is listening today to West Coast Radio, we are going to push to make sure that the diaspora vote in 2026, the government...
Well, Esam Baifal is going to court to make sure that it happens. Maybe you all should, in the diaspora...
We will do everything. We will do everything humanly possible. But now with Barrow's unpopularity, it's just going to be... They're going to be
Barrow is unpopular?
Absolutely unpopular. Didn't you see that Sepras poll? That Sepras poll is the very authentic poll. I had Ismail Assise.
This was going into 2021. If you're talking about Sepras.
No, the recent Sepras poll. You didn't hear about it?
Was that Sepras or Afrobarometer?
Afrobarometer.
That's Afrobarometer.
Afrobarometer. Afrobarometer. Okay. Afrobarometer is a very authentic poll. Okay. They say. I know Dr. Cisse is trying to spin it around, as he always do. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, it is a very, very, very authentic poll. Now, 77% thinks that the country is heading in the wrong direction. 70% wants to leave the country. Think about that. 62% disapproves of the job that President Adama Barrow is doing. So he is extremely 62%. That is very, very bad news for him. Okay? So they're going to do everything humanly possible to make sure that they find a way, because all what interests them is winning.
Okay. Let me just say before you go far that, we've had a different perspective to what you just said.
Okay.
Because I also spoke to, again, the number 2 in NPP, Dr. Demba Sabali.
Okay.
He had an explanation for that.
Okay.
He thinks, the poll was conducted in an opposition stronghold, where views would, be counter to, maybe if he had gone to another area where the president had support.
But I don't believe that, because the fact of the matter is there is no way you're going to conduct a poll and just concentrate in opposition stronghold. They're just spinning, because it's just a bad news for them. So they are trying to spin it. So they will find every way of spinning it.
Maybe we should get Said Matijao on the program tomorrow.
Right, because what is absolutely you need to. I mean, the fact of the matter is, in Western countries, when you have a poll that is not good for you, you're trying to adjust. You're trying to find a way of solving the problem.
It shows you where you're going wrong.
Right. It should help you, guide you. But for them, they are spinning it because for them, everything is spinning. Look at Barrow's speech the other day. For 20 minutes, not a single time did he mention corruption.
Well, why should he?
Well, I mean...
Corruption is nothing to write home about.
Well, yeah, but this is the concern. This is the concern that Gambians have
He wants to tell you what he's done over the past 12 months, for heaven's sake.
Right, but still, he should tell us, as Gambians, that this is what I am going to do to fight corruption.
Yeah.
We understand that everybody in the Gambia today thinks corruption is out of control. This and that, that's what I'm going to do to fight it. Okay? He never did. So this means he's not interested in it. He's only interested what suits him. The draft constitution, 2020.
He wants it to go to a referendum.
Thank you. Who is going to, support this document while you have the 2020? That is the one we spend all this money on.
2020 doesn't exist anymore.
I know, but still.
It was thrown out of the National Assembly.
I know, but still, you can...
It cannot be regarded as a legal document.
Right, but you still cannot butcher the 2021 and take all the thing that's, favors you. That doesn't favor you. You take that out in the old one and put things that favor you in the new one, and you think we're going to go with it. So it just doesn't make no sense. At least, even if you have to bring a new document, make sure the most important stuff that the Gambian people want, at least have it in there. Okay? Like, the clause that, give us a solid term limit. You do your 5 years, you are out. Especially for the president, after doing 1 year or 5 years already, then the next one is gone, and that kind of stuff. So they took all the valuable stuff in the old one, okay? And then now bring us in this new one, and they want us to follow it. It just doesn't make no sense, okay?
What is the most troubling thing about the draft constitution for you? What don't you like the most in the draft constitution that the president is pushing?
Peter, the fact of the matter is the old the 2021 it was a document that the drafters of that constitution went around the country, the whole country, okay, talking to people, asking them, what do you want in the new constitution? We have a new dispensation. So we're trying to build a constitution that is going to last, maybe 1,000 years, okay? They went abroad. They went to the United States. They came to my own home state of North Carolina. They went everywhere, trying to gauge what the Gambian people want. Okay? Now, they put all that together. This was just not their wish. It's just not what the drafters, Justice Cherno Jallow, what I wish, and I'm putting it there. No, they went into consultation throughout the country and outside the country, wherever Gambians reside. So they put this document together, okay? So now they put that together. The NPP killed the document because it didn't favor them.
Again, Demba Sabali says, when this thing was in the National Assembly, Barrow and NPP did not have a single member of parliament. The majority was held by lawyer Usainu Dabo and his UDP. People are responsible for voting down the 2020 draft.
Mr. Gomez,
Demba Sabali reminds you.
Mr. Gomez, that's a joke, right? He
was being serious.
Right, but that is not serious. That is not a serious statement coming from a cabinet minister. Because if he was serious, he would have been honest with you to let you know every UDP member that was still with the United Democratic Party was supporting the document. It is the defectors, okay? The defectors from the UDP that were already aligned themselves with NPP. And at that time, they were independent at the time because they were not UDP anymore, okay? They allied with the NRP people and also some other independent whatever. So we couldn't get the numbers Okay, the required two-thirds majority to pass the draft. So that's what exactly happened. So it tells you how unserious these people are, because it is a shame you come here on a national platform and trying to spin things around. That doesn't make no sense, because every reasonable-minded Gambian knows what the facts are. So I mean, to come here and trying to, just spin things around, that's just embarrassing. And we've seen this throughout the government. Whatever they do is just, lies upon lies, and spinning stuff that never any serious attempt, to deal with issues that will help the Gambian people. Okay.
Again, I'm still trying to understand what for you is the most troubling, in this the 2024 draft.
Well, what they try to do is to take the required like the 5 years, okay, yeah. That was supposed to be to end Barrow's term.
You're talking about term limits now.
Yeah, that's right. They took that out, okay. So now they allowed so that they can allow Barrow to have more time as president.
What did they take out?
Well, what they did is
the part in the 2020 draft that referred to 2017 as the start of Barrow's first term.
Because this should have been Barrow's last term. This should have been Barrow's last term.
Yes,
okay.
The 2020 draft would have ensured that.
Exactly. You would have ensured that. Yeah. So they butchered it. So now we cannot just sit by there and also allow him to manipulate the system, to manipulate where almost 65 million was spent, just to manipulate it and then come later.
65 million on what? 116 million.
116 million, exactly. Half of what I'm just trying to say. So now they spend all that money. Now you throw all that in the garbage can. Now you want to come years later and tell us, oh, now we want to bring it up, and you think we're going to accept it? We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
Yeah, but at least, this constitution, this draft, gives you the two-term limit, the term limit that we have always yearned for as Gambians.
But we always warn him.
And also the 50+1
right.
to win an election.
We always warn him, UDP has always warned him that if you change a single word in the original draft, okay, we are not going to accept it. We warn him.
So UDP will be blamed.
No.
If we get stuck, if we get stuck with the 1997
No, we
Constitution.
cannot be blamed. We cannot be blamed because we have a perfect document. Okay, in the 2020
Yeah, but
draft.
we have to have a constitution in place.
Well,
So it means that if we cannot get a new constitution, to usher in a third republic, we are still stuck.
Maybe that's their political strategy, trying to find a way, because they don't think it is realistic. This one is not even realistic. They know that. Like the way it stands right now, because they're gonna need some UDP members to be able to pass it. So maybe that's their strategy, trying to find a way. Because these people don't believe in really anything. It's all about what works for them, what suits them. That's all they care about. So basically, maybe they're not even interested in this 2024 draft. It's just political gimmicks they're trying to play.
It's very interesting what you just said there. They're going to need some UDP members to support this draft to go through. Do you trust all the current UDP MPs to toe the party line and not support the 2024 draft?
As far as I know, as I'm speaking to you right now, as far as I know, every UDP member, member of parliament, is likely to vote against it. What changes tomorrow or day after, I don't know. But as we speak right now, from my understanding, is that we are not going to vote for it.
Makan, I'll ask for your final thoughts in a minute. I've got to go back to the commercial desk. I'm sure I am getting a lot of text messages, possibly even some people trying to call in response to maybe to some of the things we've discussed already. Makan, unfortunately, call it holiday hangover or whatever. I forgot my phones at home coming to work this morning. But yeah, we'll review whatever messages we received in response to this conversation. And Makan is still around. If we need to drag him back to the studio to come and deal with those, we will. But just in conclusion, before I ask, what your concluding words might be, the NPP challenged the UDP to declare who its flag bearer, standard bearer in 2026 will be, because Demba Sabali has made it categorically clear to me that they will contest the 2026 presidential election with Adama Barrow as their candidate. Why is the UDP not telling us who their candidate in 2026 is going to be already?
Well, thank you, Mr. Gomez, for that question. UDP has a process that we follow since 1996. So the year of the election or the year before the election, whoever is interested to be a flag bearer can put up your candidacy. So when you do...
So people can only apply for the position as of now, 2025?
I mean, it depends. It can go up to 2026. Okay.
Well, you won't have a Congress a few days before the presidential vote in 2026. The election is going to be in
2026,
December
2026. Right, but I'm just trying to make a point that very soon.
Because your next biennial would be in December 2026.
Right, we already held our Congress last...
That's what I'm saying. That was in 2024. So
right.
another 2 years...
But this is a central committee.
The other one was a non-elective one.
Right.
So the elective Congress will probably be later this year, right?
No, the elective... No. I think... let me clear this out. Okay. We're not having any elective Congress until the end of the election, until end of December 2026.
Yeah, but that would have been after the election.
Right, after the election, yes. But so, I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Okay.
For the flag bearer issue, it's always different. It is the central committee, okay, that decides who the flag bearer is. So that can happen anytime before the election.
Okay. So the flag bearer is not decided usually at a Congress?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not. It's
this is important.
Yes. So it is the central committee. So whoever is interested to be a candidate of the United Democratic Party, you can put up your application, and then the central committee is going to decide who the flag bearer is going to be. So that the timeline on that, I'm not sure, but it could be. No. It could be this year. It could be next year.
This is good clarification.
Right.
This is good clarification.
Right. So,
because for some of us who are not, politicians or into politics, we just assume that such decisions are made at congresses, whether elective or non-elective.
Right. Yeah. So that's how it works. And then with Demba Sabali saying that is none of his business really, because this is a UDP matter. What matters is we put up our candidate and send the candidacy to the IEC. For IEC to endorse and whatever. So and then we face up with whoever is the candidate.
Not endorse. Endorse might be the wrong word. To register.
To register. Yes, exactly. So then we will. When you do that, then we take up with whoever the other candidates are from other parties, and we go for an election. So, but with regards to who our candidate is, that is the UDP. Yeah. If you want to know, if you want to deal with that, or you want to tell us, you have an opinion about a candidate or who you think you want, come join the UDP. Then you have a say.
Okay? He's got a better one. He says, every Gambian is NPP until you decide to walk out of the party.
I don't believe that, but we shall see. Yeah, we shall see. We shall see. I always remind people that in 2011, Jammeh won the election by 72% of the vote. 5 years later, he was defeated. So in African elections, things are very volatile.
In 2021,
in 2011,
Barrow won with just over 52% of the vote.
Right.
So what are you predicting for 2026?
What I'm trying to predict is that he's going to lose another 30%.
Oh.
So he's going to lose the election in 2026.
He won't even get 25% next time.
He'll be lucky to get 25. Seriously, I'm serious. Barrow doesn't have any base.
He doesn't?
Barrow doesn't have any...
Not even in the URR?
I mean, listen, those people, with URR, it's not enough to give him a solid base, you know what I mean? And as I keep saying, African voters, they keep fluctuating around. You know, we've seen that in Senegal, we've seen that in many other countries.
Yeah, and even the information minister sat where you are now sat and admitted that 90% of elections in the past year had gone against the incumbent.
Thank you. So
how encouraging is that to you?
I'm very encouraging.
Makan, let's have your closing.
Okay,
let's have your closing remarks.
Okay. Okay. So thank you for inviting me to come here. I'm really excited. I hope we do this again. Yeah, but the only thing I have to say is that Gambia, talking to the Gambian people now, is that the Gambia is in a very, despair state. I've been here for almost 3 weeks now, little more than 3 weeks. All what I see is despair and suffering. Most people cannot afford, basic necessities of life. Food is a problem. A lot of people cannot have 3 meals anymore. That's way gone. So I just want the Gambian people to look at how Barrow is running the country. It's only few that are benefiting out of 2 million plus people. Only few. And I'm urging you. I'm urging every citizen. I'm urging every Gambian to put a stop to it. And you can put a stop to it. The only way you can put a stop to it, come 2026, get him out of State House. Let's install a United Democratic Party government, and then you're gonna see the change. All what we've been promising you in the last years, you're gonna see a big difference. Look at our municipalities, how they have been run. From KMC to Banjul to West Coast to LRR. Our regions are in far better shape than in any other place around the country compared to the NPP-led municipalities. So, and this is just, the beginning for you. So whenever you see a UDP government, you're going to see a lot of changes. I know some people like to say, oh yeah, some of these problems are created by UDP. But these are just people that don't like UDP. But the fact of the matter is, when UDP came with Adama Barrow in 2017, they didn't last there for a year and a half. And what happened is, when Barrow, after 6 months into the new government.
I'll give you 10 seconds more.
Okay. After 6 months into the election, Barrow started having political ambitions. So then he decided to sideline the UDP ministers and UDP people in the government. I thank you all. And thank you, Peter, for inviting me again.
Makan, thank you very much. And yes, look forward to our next meeting. You've been listening to Coffee Time with Peter Gomez, the first live edition in 2025. And tomorrow we'll be back. We'll try to go back to the Meet the People tour and put the record straight on the funding. We'll also try to get Said Mati Jaw in the studio to continue the debate on the Afrobarometer report. So tune in tomorrow from 8 o'clock. Until then, thank you very much for the pleasure of your company.